Hey, my name is Brian, and I was ramp checked. I didn't think something like this would ever happen to me. I always thought this was the sort of thing that happened to people like my friend Carl, a very bad pilot. Um, but it did happen, and no one's immune. And so I'll tell you a little bit about it. My CFI and I had been out practicing emergency maneuvers, and we just wrapped up a series of simulated stuck mic drills and decided it was time to head back to the airport. We were heading back, and as we were turning left final, I remember looking out and seeing a bunch of very official cars on the ramp. And I remember thinking to myself, self, not now. You've got to land this plane. And land the plane I did. It was a landing that a lot of pilots might refer to as amazing or phenomenal. That's just how I do it. I remember the wheels touching the ground was so imperceptible that as I taxied to parking, my CFI said, Brian, how is it that you're able to fly this plane so slow? I said, Carl, I put it down on the numbers. Just then I saw a single tear start down his cheek, and I remember he tried to suck it up with his eye. That's not how eyes work. So we got out of the plane, tied it down, started towards the FBO, and we were approached by a man from the FCC. No, from the FA. It doesn't matter. It was a man. Might have been a woman. Anyway, she came up to us and said, I'm sorry, gentlemen, I have to cite you for improper use of an aircraft tie down. I remember getting really, really angry. I tried to explain to this person, look, I've been flying this plane for many, many years. I know this plane like the back of my hand, inside and out, from the tip to the tail. I've read the POH cover to cover probably 9 times. I was so upset I went into the aircraft. I grabbed the POH. I unwrapped it from the shrink wrap packaging and then went through it with the gentleman from the FAA. Well, it was then that I learned something. I fly a Cirrus, and the Cirrus, it turns out, has 3 tie downs. I had always thought it just had 2.
So if you take a look at this drawing here, you can see we've got a tie down under the pilot's side.
And this one right here under the left wing.
And then if you look here, there's also a tie down under the passenger side wing.
Right here under the right wing.
What I hadn't noticed was this tie down back here in the back.
You see, but the thing is, I'm from the south, and when we see some sort of loop on the back of a vehicle, welcome to Texas. If you do get ramp checked, there's a lot of things you can do. The first thing that I think is always a good idea is just pretend you're on the phone. I'm sorry, this is going to be a while. Why don't you come back, have a cup of coffee? We'll talk in a minute. This is really important. When they go into the FBO for their coffee, get in the plane and fly away as fast as you can. That's a really good idea. Another good idea is pretending you don't speak English. Your pilot certificate says English proficient. It doesn't specify verbal versus written. Maybe you write English like a professor, but you can't speak a lick of it. You're not breaking the law by not being able to speak English in that situation. Just talk in pig Latin to the ramp check person, and eventually they're going to walk away. The other thing I like to do in being ramp checked is I like to turn the tables. And I say, no, I do the ramp checks around here. I flew in here to ramp check the ramp checkers. Ramp checkers sounds like a very unsafe game. I would say if anyone invites you to play ramp checkers, I wouldn't play. Another thing you can do is pretend that you're with the FAA and you're there to ramp check planes. When they come to ramp check you, you say, oh, I'm Phil from the FAA. I thought I was supposed to be ramp checking. There must be some sort of confusion back at headquarters. And then just pick up your phone and go, I'll call headquarters and clear it up right now. You go get those guys. Hey, headquarters? Yeah, walk away while you're making this phone call. He's just going to be like, ha, silly misunderstanding. The last and probably best decision is to pretend you were the passenger. What I like to do is just find a random stranger that's walking into the FBO and say, I don't know anything about flying. That's Carl. He's my pilot. Go get him now. He has drugs. He has guns and lots of liquids on the plane. And the FAA guys are just going to be like, well, I got to go. And then you get in the plane. Don't yell clear. Don't do anything. Just start it and go. Fly away. These are all really good ideas.
Well, that's the end of my informative video for today. I'm just going to put the plane up and go home and have a nice evening. So you guys take care, and thanks for watching.